tip this week is how to do a welt, or basically it's kind of a fold in the fabric, and this is fairly self-serving because I happen to be doing a welt in a garment I'm designing right now. Now, what you basically do when you do a welt is I take my live stitches and I work them together with an existing stitch, and what that does is it provides a fold in the fabric. And I've seen these used in hats and mittens, and I'm actually using it in a skirt to differentiate one part of the skirt from the other. The things that can go wrong when you do this is that when I'm picking up the stitches to do the welt, I want to make sure that I stay within the same column of stitches. If I, for this stitch for example, pick up a stitch over here, it's going to make the welt angle off. The other thing I want to do is make sure that I stay within the same row of stitches, that I don't jig-jag around, or it's going to make the welt uneven. Now, to start, the first thing I'm going to do, and this is in the selvage stitch and so it's kind of ugly and hard to see, is I'm going to determine where I want to pick up a stitch. And I actually think I'm going to start over here. I'm going to join this stitch. I'm going to turn around, and looking at it from this angle, it looks like a frown, and that is what I'm going to be picking up. And I'm going to get a safety pin and put it in there so I know for sure, just to get started. Okay? And when I want to pick up in the selvage stitch, I'm going to find the closest thing to this frown over there that's in the same row, and it happens to be right there. So I'm going to get another safety pin just to make sure that I'm picking up. Of course, I'm dropping everything. Picking up in the same spot. And there I go. So I've got that there. Well, I turn, and to work the first one, I insert my needle into the stitch, and I insert it into the stitch that I want to knit together, and I've marked the first one, so I've got it. And I'm just going to kind of put this on my needle, and I'm going to knit those two guys together. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to pick it up here, knit those two guys together. And anytime you're knitting two stitches together, you know, it can be a bit itsy. So, now notice when I'm looking at it from this side, I'm looking at it upside down. What was a frown is now a smile. And I just want to make sure that I am picking up on the same row. And I can see that I am. And if you can't see that, before you start, first few times you do these, or if you have difficulty reading your work, you may just want to go through and mark all of them. So you can see I'm going to pick up here, 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 here. In the still photos that I do for the blog, I'm going to go ahead and mark all of those. Pull it up, put it on, knit them together, and let's see what I'm getting here. So you can see that I've got this kind of like fold in my fabric, and I'm going to, when I finish working this, I would turn and work as normal. I'm not going to show you that because it'd be boring watching me do all of these. Okay, there's my smile. Put it on, and there I go. Now, one thing that would be kind of nice in a hat or a mitten is if I did these rows that are in the fold in a different color. That could be kind of fun. I would do this row in my new color though, since that would be the flat part. So to see what this looks like in more detail, read the blog entry, and it will go into much more discussion of how to do this and have the photographs labeled, and it'll show the final product.